Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making another Christmas wreath, and you guys really loved the big blue Deco mesh winter wreath I did a couple years ago. So I thought I would try another one, this time using a couple different techniques. And I'm going to do this wreath in red and gold Deco mesh. I have these two rolls of Deco mesh from Michaels. This one in red and this one in kind of a gold. And then depending how things go, I also have this pretty gold sparkly ribbon from Michaels and this mesh fabric roll from Dollarama. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of these, but I have them here and then I'll just get started and see how it goes. I'm going to be using this big 18-inch wire wreath form. And the first thing I need to do is get some pipe cleaners. This is the bin with all of my pipe cleaners and pom-poms. I'm going to need 18 pipe cleaners. So let's see how many of these red sparkly ones I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's all of those ones, but I also have some gold sparkly ones. So we'll go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I need 2 more. Let's just do a couple silver ones. I'm taking my pipe cleaners and I'm going to tie 10 of the pipe cleaners onto the outer ring of the wreath. I'm just looping it around the wire and twisting it a couple of times and then leaving the ends up like that because that is what we're going to use to tie the Deco mesh onto the wreath. I think I might need more pipe cleaners just because this wreath form is pretty big and there are 6 sections. So I think it might work better to do 2 pipe cleaners per section. So 12 around the outside. There's all my pipe cleaners tied onto the outer ring. Now, the tutorial I was looking at, their wire wreath form only had 3 rings. They put 10 ties of some kind around the outer edge and then 8 ties on the inner ring. But my wreath form has 4 rings. It must be a bigger wreath form because I have more sections. So I'm doing 12 around the outside. Should I do my next ones on the very inner ring or the next one out? I think what I'm going to do is put my next pipe cleaners on this 3rd ring. So the first ones were on number 1, then we're leaving 2 blank, and I'm going to put the other ones on 3 and then leave 4. And we'll see how that turns out. You can always add more. How many should I do for the inner ring? Just 6? That doesn't seem like very much. For right now, I'm putting 1 pipe cleaner per section of the wreath form. And then I might add more because I want it to be a really full wreath. Okay, that worked out. Let's start with that. So here's what my crazy wreath form is looking like right now. Then we'll get our red Deco mesh. Before I start unraveling my Deco mesh, I have my cutting mat here. And I'm going to put my wreath form on top of that. I'm starting by unrolling the Deco mesh a little bit. I'm taking the end of the Deco Mesh roll and I'm folding over the very end. Then just kind of scrunching it together like that so it looks like one end of a bow. Then tie the pipe cleaner around. Then I'm using my cutting mat as a ruler and pulling it over to about 12 inches. Then scrunching it and tying this scrunched part with the next pipe cleaner. Then you can see it makes this big poof. Let's do that again. At 12 inches, scrunch it together. Then wrap the pipe cleaner around a couple times. Crunch together. Get the next pipe cleaner, wrap that around. I'm really excited for this method because the way I've done it before is by cutting individual pieces of Deco Mesh. And while that does work, I always find that Deco Mesh frays so much. And I'm really not interested in doing the lighter method for the ends. That just freaks me out way too much. So I just deal with the fraying. But I'm excited to see if this helps. Okay, that is the last pipe cleaner that was on the inner ring. So taking this mesh, you can see the next closest pipe cleaner is this one on the outer ring. We're going to move the mesh up to that pipe cleaner, then wrap that around a couple of times. So now we're going to start making the poofs for the outer ring, and then using the next pipe cleaner to tie it onto the wreath form. Then we're going to do the same thing, measure about 12 inches, twist, and tie it on with the pipe cleaner. You could make the outer ring poofs bigger than the inner rings if you want to. I feel like this is pretty big already, and I'm wondering if I should have made the inner ring ones smaller, like maybe 10 inches. But this is definitely the kind of thing you can play around with and make adjustments every time you do it. And I'm probably gonna add more Deco Mesh so I can play around with the sizes that way too. Let me know if you've tried this technique for Deco Mesh wreath making before. It's really fun and so easy. And I think it's a lot faster than measuring out and cutting each individual Deco Mesh piece. I am gonna be doing some of that for the next method in a little bit, but for the main part, all being connected as one piece, I really like that so far. That's the last pipe cleaner. I normally use my rotary cutter to cut my mesh, but I'm gonna try my fabric scissors this time. One thing I'm realizing that I should have done to start with is cut all of my pipe cleaners in half because I really don't need them to be this long, but I want more to add other Deco Mesh and ribbon in the wreath. So I obviously don't want to untie all of these pipe cleaners and do it again. I'm gonna try to cut this. Still wanna leave a little bit there, but let's see if these are big enough. Now I'm gonna do the other two rings that I didn't put the red on. So number 2 and number 4. For this part, I'm doing 2 pipe cleaner pieces per section. That's that ring done. Now I'm gonna do the very inner ring, and I'm going to put 1 pipe cleaner per section. Here's the wreath with all of the red and gold Deco Mesh. It's looking so full and so fun. Now let's get our gold Deco Mesh. Then doing the same thing to start. I'm folding over the end a little bit and then scrunching. So we have kind of a bow shape at the end there. And then I am attaching it to this ring and using the pipe cleaner to tie it on. This time I'm gonna make my deco mesh 10 inches long, thereabouts anyway. Then scrunch and tie it onto the wreath with the pipe cleaner. It's a little bit harder to see the ruler with all of the red deco mesh there, but we can still get the general gist. And then we have to find the little pipe cleaner pieces hiding in there. Deco mesh gets so stuck to itself. It's like Velcro. The really small pipe cleaner pieces are definitely trickier to tie the deco mesh with, but it still is working. I'm loving making this. It's very relaxing. It's just so easy and repetitive, but not in a boring way. That's all for that ring. Now, last time I think I started on the inner ring and then moved to the outer ring. This time I'm doing the opposite, but I don't think it really matters. This is my piece of deco mesh that I'm working with, and the next closest pipe cleaner piece on a ring is right down here, this little silver one. So I'm just gonna move that down and tie it on. This pipe cleaner piece might be a little bit too small. Pull it tight. I think we can make it work. For these inner poofs, I'm gonna make them 8 inches. The 8 is under there somewhere. And then we'll pinch that together. And then this is where it gets a little bit complicated because it's a lot harder to find the little pipe cleaner pieces. Another 8 inches, pinch it together, then find the next one. There it is. That's the end. So I'll take my fabric scissors again and cut it off. Next, I'm gonna use this wired ribbon that has the red background with the poinsettias and the gold edges. And I'm going to add that over top of the gold deco mesh. Leaving a bit of the tail out, I'm tying the ribbon onto the outer ring of my gold deco mesh pieces, just using the same pipe cleaner pieces that are already there. Then I'm making a bump and tying it onto the next piece of deco mesh. Now, because I made some of my pipe cleaner pieces a little bit small, I might have to go back and tie it on better, but for now it actually seems to be working pretty good. I'm trying to make these about the same size. I'm not measuring them this time. This is gonna add really nice dimension by layering the red ribbon over top of the gold deco mesh. This is also so easy to do, but so impactful. I'm loving how this is looking. And then once I'm done everything, I'm gonna go around and adjust all the deco mesh and fluff it up. But for now, we've just got the general shape going. This pipe cleaner piece is so teeny tiny. I'm not even gonna try tying the ribbon on there. So I'm just getting a little piece of floral wire and I'm gonna tie it on with that. I actually ran out of ribbon and I have just a little bit more to go. So I'm gonna pull it a bit in each section just to give me some more ribbon at the end. I'm using another piece of floral wire on this part to tie that on. This ribbon is not gonna reach over these last 2 pieces of Deco mesh, so I'm just gonna tie this on. Here, let's get another piece of floral wire. I'm gonna tie this piece onto the wreath. It still looks quite cute. I really like how all the ribbon turned out. I'm sad it didn't reach the bottom here, but I think we can still make it work. Next, I'm taking this red Deco mesh. This is from Dollar Tree, I think. And I'm gonna move my wreath out of the way for a minute. For this part, I'm going to make Deco mesh curls. I'm gonna make each piece 24 inches long. So we'll go 12 and 12. And then for this part, I'm gonna use my rotary cutter. And I'm gonna continue doing this a bunch of times. Let's start with that. I'm putting the mesh face up on the table so it wants to curl like that. Then I'm going to weigh down one side with my wire cutters. Then roll the other end a few times. I'm putting my Deco mesh down on the table, face up, so it's wanting to curl like that. Then I'll weigh down one side with my wire cutters and roll the other side a few times. And then I'm gonna clip this side together. Now I'm curious, since I cut these with the rotary cutter, is that why it's fraying so much? If I cut it with the fabric scissors, will that help? Or is it because of this is the dollar store Deco mesh that it's fraying so badly? I don't know. But I'll turn the mesh around. I'm gonna try cutting this end with my scissors. I feel like it won't make a difference, but worth a try. Then I'll roll this side a few times. Then scrunch it all together. Take off the clip. Then I can attach these pieces to my wreath. I think I'm just gonna cut a bunch of pieces of floral wire and then have them ready, and then just attach a bunch of these all over the wreath. I'm gonna try the Michaels ribbon and see if we have the same issues, because this is just falling apart. It's not great, but that just might be a Deco mesh thing. Let's get the mat back. We have the Deco mesh on the table, so it's curling up. Weigh down one side, then roll the other end a few times. Then clip it together. Turn it around, then roll this end a few times. Then scrunch the middle together, take off the clip. Okay, that is working so much better than this one already. I'm sure this one will still fray, but this dollar store one, I haven't even rolled it yet or done anything with it, and it's just totally falling apart. What I'm gonna do is fold this in half so it's like that, and just attach it in random places on the wreath. And I am using pieces of floral wire for this. I'm trying to fill in all of the gaps where I didn't have anything before. And doing the Deco mesh like this just creates a bit of a different shape and a different look. But yes, that is working so much better. And just doing the 12 inches of this bigger Deco mesh, I'm finding is working just fine for this. I'm finding when I'm rolling the ends, it's easy to do the middle and then the sides get a little bit left out. So I think it works a little bit better to kind of start from the edge and roll, and then you can move your fingers along to roll the middle. I'm gonna try rolling it a little bit more than I rolled the last one. Then we'll turn it And roll the other side. And scrunch together, take the clip off. And then that's the shape we get from that. The cylinder parts are a little bit more noticeable since we rolled it quite a bit more, but I kind of like it. Maybe I'll do a mix of the two kinds. I'll show you side by side here. So this is the one we made earlier, and this is the new one, just slightly more prominent rolling, but very similar. I think I'm gonna make a bunch more of these and then add them all onto my wreath. I attached all my curls of Deco mesh, and what I ended up doing was weaving it underneath the wire wreath form and then tying it on with a piece of floral wire. And that seems to be working really well. It's staying in place, and then I can kind of adjust it around and zhuzh it all. I also went through and I added some of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh twirls that I made, and I really regret it because they really are just completely falling apart. I don't know if you can really see on there, but the difference is crazy when I was tying each of them on. The Michaels ones went on just fine. A little snag here or there. And then these Dollar Tree ones were just disintegrating. But I didn't have any more of the Michaels red Deco mesh, and I wanted to fill in some of the spots a bit more. So now we know. Next, I'm gonna add more ribbon, this time in a different way. I have this super pretty gold ribbon from Michaels, and on top of that, I'm going to layer this ribbon. Then I'm also gonna add this really pretty red velvet ribbon on top. I have my ruler, and I'm going to measure out strands that are 10 inches long. I'm not sure how many ribbon pieces I'll need. Maybe I'll start with 4 or 5, and then we can add them to the wreath and see how that's looking. Now for the next ribbon. This one is so pretty. I love how it's a little bit sparkly, but not too much. Just has a bit of a glisten to it. So let's measure 10-inch pieces of these as well. I was going to use this thin red velvet ribbon on top, but the nice thing about these gold ones is they are wired, whereas this thin velvet one is not. So if I were to layer that on top, then put my red velvet ribbon, and it's on the wreath, it would just be kind of hanging down, and I don't think I really love that. I think even if it was up here, I actually like it a lot better without it. Okay, that looks so pretty. So we're gonna stick with that. Before I attach these ribbons to my wreath, I'm going to cut the ends of all of them. So I'll fold the ribbon in half, then cut it at an angle like this. Then we get that nice end. I'll do the same on the other side. Then just to show you on this ribbon, folding it in half. And we have that end there. And I'm going to continue doing this for all of my ribbon pieces. I'm now gluing all the pairs of ribbon together. So I'm putting a bit of hot glue in the center of the gold ribbon, then putting the snowflake ribbon over top and pressing that down. Now that I have all my ribbon sections, I'm going to attach it to my wreath. So I'll start by pinching the middle together. I'm going to add more hot glue to all of these in the center there on the snowflake ribbon. Then pinch it together and press. Then we get that cute little bow shape. Then I'm adding some hot glue to the back of the ribbon. Then I'll tuck it in between the deco mesh and then just kind of stick it in. Same thing for the next one, adding a bit of hot glue in the center, then pinching it together. And I'm just kind of putting these ribbon pieces randomly around the wreath. I'm trying to make them face slightly different ways. So like that one is like this, then I'm gonna make it the next one more vertical like that. And we'll add the hot glue on the back. Then stick it down.
Unfortunately, I did not turn on my microphone when I was filming this part, so you get sick me doing the outro. But this is my finished wreath. I love how it turned out. It was so much fun trying all these new techniques. If you enjoyed this video and love Christmas wreaths, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.